Yes, guys. So just a little quick short one, I know, because on my FB, when it comes people you may know, I see a lot of calls and stuff, and then I see sometimes because I've got some Muslim friends on my FB, I see some of their relatives and people that may know some Muslim girls come up. So in the West, it's very hard to wear our traditional dress, and it's not easy, even for Sikhs to keep their turban and beard. The men, it comes with hardships. People take the mickey out of you. You can get discrimination. You're more prone to racial abuse, racial attacks. Um, we're programmed here to adopt the Western culture, Western ways, and stuff like that. There's a lot of pressure. Uh, and sometimes it can be pressure even from your own community or your own parents sometimes to adopt them ways. But like I said, I've always grown up in Islamic Muslim areas, and um, even when Muslim girls wear English clothes, most of the time they're quite modest and not showing the curves. I know the youngsters are changing, and not as many as our girls, but some are wearing fresh flesh revealing clothes. Yeah, I'm looking at like the 14 to 22-year olds nowadays. Yeah. uh but still much more rare, especially from what I can see on the social media, and even in real life I only see the odd one here and there. I'm not saying not as many as wearing the traditional dress. Look, me, I don't fully agree with the face veil, covering of the face for security reasons, and I think that's more cultural anyway, more than religious. But in religious, Islam says modesty, you know, which modesty just basically means self-respect, izzat, shame, dignity, honor, and stuff like that. And on that, you present yourself in a way which it's not gonna um, give off dark vibes of lust for yourself and for other people to perceive you that way as well, because we know lust is a killer. Yeah, sexual desire is just a killer. So if we can minimize that and not trigger it in yourself or others, it'd be great. So we do have singing that from especially from my generation that are baptized Amradari. They wear the traditional dress. I don't think you have to be baptized in Islam to wear a traditional dress. It's just a cultural thing. When I was growing up, a lot of them wore the traditional dress, and some didn't. Some wore school uniform, but it was modest, and a lot of them didn't cover their face, uh, which is again is more like family orientated or cultural. Um, but they generally, I'm telling you now, I'm not saying just because someone dresses modest that everyone's got a good character. Because you can't always judge by the looks. You know what I mean? You might have someone that's dressed modest or forced to wear traditional clothing and do bad things, because they've been forced. We have people that look like things and then they, are pedos, or, what I mean, doing mad stuff, you know what I mean? If I was to wear kurta pajama, white kurta pajama, do my bug a bit different, to wear my qurban on the outside, I could look really, really pure and religious, yeah. But I know the dirt that's in my mind, you know what I mean? I know how I struggle with my punch jaw and stuff like that. So just appearances can be fooling and deceiving, and sometimes you can get someone that doesn't dress modest, shows loads of flesh, but they haven't they do that for fashion or whatever, but they don't mess about out there. They're still looking for they ain't having sex before marriage or whatever. But the way they present themselves, you think, bloody hell, this person's got no charm. They must have been around the block. And sometimes, dress sense can confuse people. But we're talking about generally, it's good to have a modest dress sense. I see the things in the gyms, just tops off and this and that. I know women and men are created different. If a woman's got a top off, it's totally different because the breasts are seen as sexual organs and stuff. And But still, as Singhs, then they'll use pictures of like Singhs fighting without no tops in a car back in the day. Back in the day, it was different, when the Singhs were wrestling with each other and stuff. It was in a car. It wasn't and it was practicality in the car in the Gurdwara, and there weren't ladies there anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? In the wrestling, it was all segregated them times. Man sports and stuff. The women might have done the singing, might have done their own thing, but it wasn't for vanity or showing off in ego on the internet, on social media, so the world can see. Look at my pecs. Look at this. Look at that. It wasn't done in that context, huh? So yeah, and I find that we do get Amritaria singing, yeah, especially for my generation. They do dress traditional and they do wear modest clothing. The new generation of singing, even the baptized one, a lot of them I'm seeing are going into the baddie culture where they're wearing figure hugging clothes and stuff like that, and it's a lot of revealing the chest area, see through tights and stuff. Not as see through as normal monia, but on the internet when you just see our girls compared to Muslim girls, there's a lot more westernized up in the sexualizing themselves, looking for validation, looking for attention. Really, even when they wear traditional dress, it's quite revealing, and they do all this sexual pouting and stuff like that, looking for attention. And you see that less in the Islamic community. So respect where respect is due. Anyone that's going onto the modesty path in the West, I respect, especially as time goes. I'll show you some pictures that just come up on Facebook all the time. I don't know these girls. I'm not saying they're bad girls or whatever. I don't know what their character's like. But the way you dress, it does represent you, and you do give off signals and vibes. That's what I would say. But we accept, and these pictures are seeing, the whole families are seeing it, everyone's seeing it. And, we have become more westernized, even the guys, we allow a lot more flesh revealing clothes, a lot more immodest clothes, you know what I mean? We allow it. Our parents allow it. We allow it. And it's not our tradition, to be honest with you, from what my understanding is. Anyway, I'll show you some pictures. Take care.